Hello, my name is Govinda Singh 1984, Govlove 84 Aria of OSNST Limited. And in this vlog I am going to explain what I have learnt regarding the Tibetan crisis in Asia. Since I was a child, my father had explained to me that my grandfather had fought against the Chinese invasion of Tibet during the 1960s, and that is something that has always stayed with me. And as I've grown into adulthood, watching the news and the crisis and the protests against the Chinese embassy by Tibetan protesters, I have just taken a keen interest in regarding what is going on over there in Asia, and especially due to the recent 20 Indian soldiers who were killed by the Chinese Liberation Army, the People's Liberation Army. It is a very serious conflict that needs a lot of people to discuss what exactly is going on over there in Asia, because it could spill into a regional war that the whole world will eventually be dragged into if China and India come to all-out war. So this is what I'd like to share. When I watched the Chinese, I can remember watching the Olympics, and there were many Tibetans protesting against the Chinese Olympics, and I would see Tibetan protesters burning the Chinese country flag, and then police rounding up Tibetans and putting them in the back of police vans and arresting them for burning the Chinese country flag on the orders of the Chinese embassy. So I decided to look into exactly what is going on in Asia, and this is my final conclusion. Now, the Chinese national flag is the flag with the major star and the 4 minor stars. That represents that the major star in the Chinese flag is the ruling party, and the 4 minor stars, the little stars on the flag, are the opposition parties. That flag must not be burnt by Tibetans. It must not be set on fire. So if I was to organise a protest and share my ideas of how I think would be a better protest, this is how I would arrange my protest table. I would have the Chinese national flag with the major star and the 4 minor stars waved proudly next to the Tibetan flag and the Indian nation flag. So there will be 3 flags that will be waved side by side proudly, and that is the Tibetan national flag, the Chinese country flag, and the Indian country flag. The flag that I would set fire to is the hammer and sickle flag of the party, the Communist Party of China. That is the only flag that you must set fire to, because that's not setting fire to a whole nation and the opposition of the 4 minors who oppose the Communist Party of China. It is setting fire to that one dictator's nasty bastard party, the Communist Party of China. So this will a signal to other people throughout Asia that this is not burning of the Chinese people, of their culture, of their heritage, of who they are as a Chinese race, but more so of one political party that goes by the name the Communist Party of China, who have a flag logo which is the red flag with the yellow hammer and sickle. That is the only flag that you must burn. Now, some Tibetans are very strict and will say they will never wave the Chinese country flag next to the Tibetan flag, because I'll be brutally honest with you, I do not see China ever leaving Tibet. I just don't see it happening. So we have to look at other alternatives of what could make the situation in Tibet better and more comfortable. So if you were to imagine, Tibet trades its economy, exports and imports, and trades throughout the rest of Asia, the rest of the world, and it gains a revenue, it gains a income. Now 50% of that revenue currently goes towards Beijing, and this is for the army, for the healthcare, for the education, for the housing, for the police, for the fire brigade, and the remaining 50% state economy for Tibet is not currently in Tibet, it's still in the Communist Party of China's bank accounts. So what I'm trying to say by acknowledging that vital taxes, there are public sectors within China who depend enormously on taxation that comes from Tibet, and there will be people who are going to be very aggressive and willing to fight to hold on to that vital mandatory taxation. So what I have concluded is, if we had the Tibetan flag waved next to the Chinese country flag and the Indian flag, and a Tibetan protester was to say the following: we will burn the Communist Party of China's flag. We want the CPC, Communist Party of China, out of Tibet. But we would like the Kuomintang KMT China in Tibet. We would like to put 25% tax towards Beijing. This is for the army, healthcare, education, police, fire brigade, housing, development, transport. This is where the money should be going. We'd also like to put another 25% tax towards the central government in New Delhi, India. And this too also should be for the army, healthcare, housing, development, transport, police, fire brigade. This is where 50% divided into two 25% should be going towards New Delhi in India and Beijing in China. And Tibet would like to keep our remaining 50% state economy. The reason why I feel that taxation has to be shared between India and China is to avoid conflict and to avoid war. Tibet is not just significant for His Holiness, His Master Gautama Buddha, Lord Buddha, but also for the Shivites, the Hindus who believe that Lord Adiyogi Shiva, the first Guru Shiva Mahadev, meditated in the mountains of Tibet, in Kailash. So Tibet is very important spiritually to India, but as I have observed and researched and looked into, there's taxation from Tibet that parts of China depend on, and they will not give up on that taxation that they depend on for their public services without a fight. So India and China have to share 25% each taxation. So I'll just sum it up in it like 100% is the complete whole. Divide that 100% into two 50%. Tibet keeps its state economy of 50%, and that stays in Lhasa, that stays in Tibet. But then 25% has to be deducted and put towards the central government in Beijing, and another 25% has to be taxed and deducted and put towards the central government in New Delhi. Now this way Tibet will be protected by two super mega powers, and that is the only sensible solution I can think of, because it's not it's reaching out to your Chinese comrades. The Kuomintang KMT have been at civil war against the bastard Communist Party of China for the past 80 years. So I feel if Tibet reach out to the Sichuan and the neighboring states in Shanghai and all the other provinces throughout China and signal to them that they are only burning the Communist Party of China's flag, I believe there will be other protests throughout China where the Chinese provinces will also burn the Communist Party of China's flag and say we want the CPC out and we want the Kuomintang in. So that way I feel it will be better for the region, and we must avoid this war and we must make Tibetans feel safer. Now some Tibetans will be stubborn, hardline and separatists and say no, we want complete independence, we want our own Tibetan nation. Look, no one's keeping 100%. That's just standard. The highest earning states will always be taxed at least 50%, but rather than China get the whole 50%, it has to be shared between India in two 25% deductions. And this will cover the public services. So this is what I feel. Now I think, and then you're reaching out to the Chinese Kuomintang, who are underground secret councils within China, who could possibly help Tibet and reprimand I don't know the word, to arrest the Communist Party council members who have authorized the murders and the kidnappings and the tortures of many innocent Tibetan protesters. Those who had tried to flee Tibet into India have been shot by the CPC, Communist Party of China hooligans. So it's basically just trying to reach to the Kuomintang in China, the opposition to the Communist Party of China, and merge the public services between India and Beijing just for regional stability and peace. So I hope this helps. This is Govinda Singh 1984, Govlove 84 Arya. Peace.